All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Masterclass. My name is Renee Tompkins, Director of Social Media for Layer Realty Partners. Excited for another great class today. We're going to get into troubleshooting, why you may not be getting enough engagement, and outlining what those issues might be. I know I oftentimes have agents here asking me, I can't seem to get past um, so many followers. What's the issue? I'm not getting any engagement on my posts. So we'll talk about why some of that may be happening. Where are the highest quality leads on social media? I think I just gave you the answer. We'll talk about the numbers though. And then the secret to success on social media. There's a lot of tips going around there about what to do, what not to do, but it really does boil down to one thing, which is pretty cool. And then we'll talk about how to protect your accounts on social media, as well as picking up your growth on Instagram. I know Instagram seems to be, for many of us, one of those channels that does take a bit longer to grow. So we'll talk about that. We'll get into some June content suggestions because it's right around the corner. Mindsets for success, recommended reading. And then if there's time, I will show you how to create animated stickers on Canva for your social media. All right, so for today's masterclass, the expectations are, as always, maintain a growth mindset, be open to making results-based changes in your business that will grow, your experience on social media. And this class is for people looking to grow on social media. So again, we're pushing you outside of your comfort zone on these classes. Take notes and interact by asking questions and sharing. And I challenge you also to develop your own success story, your success strategy for social media for growing online. So I found this quote pretty interesting and I wanted to share it with you. The keys to brand success are self-definition, transparency, authenticity, and accountability. So define what it is that you want to convey, what your brand is all about. Transparency is putting yourself out there, as well as authenticity, being real, being vulnerable, not being super caught up with worrying about what people think of you. We talked about this a couple months back when Mel Robbins came out with her very famous book, Let Them, and a lot of it talked about holding ourselves back for fear of what other people will think of us. And I think a lot of us do that on social media, where we hesitate or we decide not to make a post because of what other people will think. So, and that's where the accountability comes in. Accountability to being your true, authentic self. And again, I always say if it's not hurtful, if it's not incorrect, then get past that, get over the hump of discomfort and put it out there. So let's talk about why you're not getting enough engagement on social media. First off, I would say is not targeting your content correctly. One of the things that I think a lot of people forget on social media is forgetting who their key audience is. We get caught up in a lot of humorous posts about the job and, because we get a lot of reactions from fellow realtors. However, I would challenge you to remember that if you're looking to grow your business on social media, unless your key market is agents to make outgoing or ingoing referrals because you are a referral-based agent, then I would challenge you to remember that your key audience would be the general public, those buyers, sellers, and investors looking to make a move. So if your engagement is declining, it might be that your content isn't resonating with your audience. I would highly suggest that you add video content to address these needs because video, as part of your affiliation with Layer, you receive now monthly content that comes out right around the first of the month. So you are receiving the sort of what I like to call the value-driven gap filler content for social media. And so the content is relevant and it's value driven. However, I will also say the magic, that's not the magic. The magic is the video, the personal touch that you put on your content. So definitely make a goal to, if there is discomfort with video, work to get over that. And then also work to eventually get to a point where you're putting, I would say, about 3 videos out per week, in addition to the standard content. The second issue is not having a consistent posting schedule. I would say if you are, you're busy, you're running here, you're running there, and you're like, oh gosh, I didn't post today. Let me suggest one thing that I mention to a lot of my coaching clients, and that is to do those things that you typically put off first thing in the morning. So as you are having your coffee, your morning routine, your power hour, whatever it is that you do in the morning, I would say before you even check your phone for business emails and voicemails, unless you are actively involved in negotiating a contract for someone, I would say that you want to be taking care of those things that tend to get pushed off to the wayside, that tend to be like oh gosh, I didn't get to it. Especially those things that just take a few minutes to do. And that one of those things is your social media posts. So I would say get in the habit of, the ones that are already done for you, do those things in the morning because a regular posting will cause you to miss opportunities and engagement. So watch that. And then I want to say another issue is lack of visual appeal. I will go on many agents' profiles and their branding is completely all over the place. So I would say once you have defined your brand, what image are you looking to portray? So social media is all about capturing the eye of your audience. And take the time. I mean, one of those things, the huge advantage to your affiliation with Layer is that, again, you're receiving monthly social media pieces that are all, they're all dynamic. They've got relevant materials, content. You've got your captions already done for you, your hashtags, your calls to action. It's all done. So if you want to put a minor tweak on it or a major tweak, certainly go ahead and do that. But this stuff is already done for you. It's the consistency that you need to implement in the mornings to get that stuff posted. Another thing I would say is, the challenge with a lot of these online schedulers is they solve one problem, but they could cause another one. And the problem they solve is obviously you can post out your content for a while. You can post it out for weeks, months, even I believe up to a year on some of them, depending. But the problem that solved, or the problem that it causes, is that you're no longer active and engaging with your audience. So remember, if you define what I call a bucket of business building, and that is social media, networking, open houses, all the various ways that you want to grow your business, then you have to commit to actually growing your business on social media. And so by, yes, getting a scheduler, that solves one problem, but as I said, it could potentially cause another one if you're not actively engaging and being intentional on social media, when you're on it. So watch that. I would say definitely take the time to engage with your audience on social media. You can do that by reacting to posts, commenting to posts, messaging them, and then taking the relationship further off of social. If you know them personally or want to get to know them, just say, I'd love to catch coffee with you. Uh, what's your schedule like? So this is what's great about social media is that it opens the door to so much possibility. It's pretty epic. And I always say, remember behind every profile is a person. So try not to get too caught up in another term that I use is vanity metrics, and that's the likes and the followers and the subscribers. Remember, it is about relationships. Another thing that I would say might be causing an issue for you is lack of authenticity. And this is where I think, you've got all this great content as I would call a value-driven gap filler. It lends to your professional credibility online. It keeps you present online and it does all those things. But what it doesn't do is put you out there. People want to connect with you. So they want you talking on video, perhaps you messaging them on social media to connect and say, hey, how are you? I saw that post, last week. Are you okay? Is everything all right? Etc. So if you're not coming across as authentic, people will hesitate to engage with you, especially if they don't know you. That's, if they know you and they know that, real estate is what you're doing, they expect real estate content from you. But lack of authenticity, you have to be real. Customers want someone they can trust and relate to. If your content feels too generic or salesy, they'll scroll past it. Even if you're thinking like, okay, well, I don't really do a lot for fun. I don't, then you would be surprised if you dug deep and thought like, okay, what can I possibly be posting about? If your thing is tacos, then every Tuesday, post a taco or post a taco recipe or your favorite taco restaurant. If you love coffee in the morning, make a post about that. It doesn't have to be, and in fact, it shouldn't all be about real estate. That's why I say use the content that we provide as that gap filler, and then the rest should be personal and it should be about you. Give them the face behind the scenes and make sure that you're connecting with them and building the relationship. Be authentic. People want to connect with you. They get that you're in real estate. So be all over that authenticity. And then a pro tip is to watch your energy surrounding social media. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and there's a lot of opinions floating out there about politics, this, that, and the other thing. And what I would say is watch your energy around it. If you don't enjoy being on social media, work to see the plus sides of these platforms. I mean, there is nothing but opportunity going on out there on social media. If your feeds are triggering you, then customize your feeds. And you know how you can unfollow people and do all the things you need to do to make your experience on social media what it needs to be. Avoid distractions and time blocks to be purposeful. So again, unfollow ads or, the first thing I always say is it starts with awareness. And as you are time blocking on social media, time block for small chunks. Don't go saying, okay, I'm going to spend 2 hours on social media this morning, because that's a big time block and chances are you're going to get off track with it. So I would say let's start even small. Let's break it down even into 15-minute time blocks. And if you've done well with that time block and you have more people to connect with, do another 15 minutes. During the time block, set yourself up for success and know what you're going into your time block to do. Know who you want to connect with today. So as you're wrapping up your day, is another thing I say to my coaching clients is make sure you do a to-do list every night for the day before, for the following day. Excuse me. So every night as you're wrapping up your day, if you're working on a tracker or doing anything and you're tracking your calls and you're tracking your activities, do that. But also let's make a to-do list for the next day. That way you're not up all night thinking what it is you have to do the next day. It's out of your mind and on paper. And on that list, I would say, let's make a list of the people that you want to engage with on your social media. So I think that's important because as you go into a time block and you're more purposeful, you're going to feel more productive. And that just feels good. So, and also be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. So I've shared this before, and I actually spilled the beans when I was at the beginning of the call. But where are the highest quality of leads coming from right now in 2025 for real estate agents? If there was any way to build and maintain your real estate business with a minimal cost outside of your time, would you be willing to master it? Would you go all in with it? And I always say people, if at the beginning of your career, or even after the end of the first year, once you really got a decent vibe for what it took, to get real estate going, if somebody said that to you, if I could give you a way to build your real estate business and maintain it at minimal to no cost other than your time, and then perhaps if you choose to invest further money into it, sure, you can do that, but would you do it? And I share this because this was a major way of how I grew my business. And I did it through consistency, being purposeful and intentful on social media, but also becoming an epic storyteller and being authentic, putting myself out there. And here you have it. This is the highest quality of leads coming to realtors. Number one, social media. Pretty awesome. That's pretty amazing. And then here's what I say, couple or get your CRM going while you're on social media. If you're being purposeful and connecting with people on social media, make sure you have your CRM active and open during that time so you can make notes in everybody's file. I think that's super important. You can't possibly hold the mental notes in your mind about who's doing this and who had this happen and all that. So I think as you are on social or even a notepad, whatever works for you, I always say the best CRM is the one you use. So maybe that's a big notebook. I don't know, but I'm just saying be purposeful, take good notes, and that way you will feel, the next day or the next week that you want to check in on people, you can remember who it is you want to check in on. So this is cool news. All right. Let's talk about what the secret to success is on social media. I get this a lot with agents. Why am I not getting any more followers? Why aren't people engaging with my posts? I just seem so stagnant on social media. It's not working. I'm out. So let's talk about what really is the secret to success on social media. And let me first say what it's not. Um, and that doesn't mean that some of these things are not important because they all are. First off, let me just say that. But the real secret is not engagement. It's not consistent posting. It's not the content. It's not the hashtags. It's not how many channels you're on. And like I said, all of these things do matter. So I'm not negating these things or saying they're not important because they certainly are. But the key to success on social media is you. And so this seems to be the theme of today's class. And that's because you can't be replicated, right? So you're your own secret to success on social media as long as you're comfortable. And like I said, this is a hurdle that a lot of people need to practice getting over. I remember the first couple videos I did on social media. I had a listing in Drake It, and I took a class on video, and I challenged myself to get out there and do it. And I stood in front of the house, introduced myself, and gave some highlights about what I loved most about the house. And then we went in and did our recording. But it was very uncomfortable. I'll admit it. I had like blotchy neck syndrome. But I will say this. And the first time I even did just a sitting down, like I always do, video to give real estate tips, you could tell I was a little uptight doing it. Now I just sort of go with the flow. And if I misspeak, I might start the video over, or I might just say, whoop, hold on, wait a minute. And it just depends on the mood I'm in and the time limit I have. So I would just say, when you first start on social media, putting yourself out there, it does feel uncomfortable. But when you think about anything, any major thing that you've ever achieved in your life, most things worth achieving aren't super easy, right? They're not, oh, I did it on my first try. It was so easy. And that was not really any challenge. This could be a challenge for people putting themselves out there. Now, there are extroverts who are all more than comfortable with that, and I give them a high five. I love that. But for us introverts, that's a little bit of a push. But I will say, like anything, once you overcome it, things get easier. Think about the first time you were behind a wheel. You were driving or even riding your bike. Of course, you didn't master it the very first time. It took practice. So, people really want to connect with you and what you're all about. And this is where you're going to bridge the gap between somebody who's just watching you online and somebody who will actually contact you. So, some content suggestions are to check in and share photos whenever you're at a local restaurant, spa, country club, etc. Share a behind the scenes day of a life. Create a vlog or a podcast series. What I like about the podcast series is if you involve someone else in it, the content's not all on you, right? It's not all on you to come up with every question. And I like the interview series specifically because I think the interview series takes most of the talking off of you, where you're just coming up with the questions, making the introduction, and so I love that. Keeping it real with your audience will turn followers into fans, 100%. So we talk about this in other classes, but I always like to remind people because again, this goes back to remembering who your audience is. Don't ever complain about the job or a client. Some of us say, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. Here's what I would say. I had a fulfilling day. I had a full day, right? So just a little pivot in how you present it, I think works wonders. Don't share excess alcohol usage online. Don't share anything sensitive or controversial, and keep it real with your audience. And again, that will turn your followers into fans. So just watch. Remember that behind every profile is a person, and everybody could be silently interviewing you for their next move. So unless you're saying that you only want to deal with certain people, watch what you put out there on social media. And I would also say this, go back into your photos. Make sure that there's no photos that you don't feel that you wouldn't show to a client. So just watch that. So I actually was asked this a few weeks back, and that's why I wanted to revisit this in today's masterclass, is how to protect your social media accounts online. There seems to be, I'm hearing more and more stories where someone couldn't access their account was hijacked, they lost full control of their pages, huge nightmare, right? So there are two ways to protect your social media accounts through, if we're talking Facebook and Instagram and Threads. The first is double factor authentication. And to do that, you're going to go to your Instagram profile, click on the menu on the top right, and then open up your settings and privacy. Go to the account center, select your password and security, and tap on the two-factor authentication. So what that does is moving forward, anytime somebody, including you, logs into that account, you're going to get a notification. And continued is you're going to select the account, click on your preferred security method, whether you want to be notified by text or email, then tap next, and then follow the instructions, and then confirm the code or enter your confirmation code that they give you and click done. It's a very quick process. Actually, I have it on my accounts, and I do recommend that. If you do want to step it up and you want even more further protection, I'm seeing more and more accounts on, especially on Instagram, but I'm seeing them both on Instagram and Facebook, get Meta verified. And to do that, you're going to your settings on either your Instagram or Facebook. You go to the account center. So notice the account center is really where everything is happening. And then click on Meta verified. And if it's available for your account, which most people do have this now, you'll see the Meta verified available under your name and profile photo. And then to continue, you're just going to select the preferred payment method, and you do have to pay for this monthly. So where I am, it's $14.99 a month, but they do have various plans. There's one for $14.99. I think there's one for $50, and then there's one for, I think, more than that, but there's three levels. And the promise is that you'll get a much heightened level of protection, as well as seen more by more accounts. So they'll help you grow your account, etc. So creators get verification with a government ID, proactive account protection, access to direct account support, etc. So you do have to go through more of a process with them. But I'm sure if you ever see those little check marks next to somebody's account name, that means they have gone through this process. So let's talk about slow Instagram growth. Like I said earlier, I get this a lot. And I would say that it's pretty common with Instagram, um, because Instagram is all about the page, where Facebook is more about the friend, your friends on Facebook, and then you can have the option to have a page. So slow Instagram growth, let's get into that. First, what I would say is, does your Instagram growth feel like it's at a standstill? A lot of you, I would probably say yes to that. So here are some tips to help you grow. Remember that what you post matters. Start your post or reel with a hook statement or question. We're going to get into some hooks in a bit. But it's the same thing as I say, talking to somebody. Like, one of the ways that I grew my business was open houses. And once I realized that I have to develop more strategic ways of speaking to people, once I did that, I started to realize I was getting more of a return on my time hosting open houses. People were reaching out to me, yes, let's get together for coffee. We want to learn more. So hook statements or questions. Don't spill all the beans. Give the audience a reason, what I call a WIFM, the what's in it for me, to connect with you. So when you're posting a video, even when you're explaining something, say like an escalation clause or whatever, I would not spill all the beans, meaning you want to say, okay, and there's more to learn about escalation clauses. If you're interested, send me a message. I'd love to discuss them with you in further detail so you're prepared for success. So definitely remember, keep your videos short and sweet. I know sometimes I'm guilty of it. I will get on in front of the camera and I'll look at, I'll wrap up a video and I'll say, oh my gosh, that was 4 minutes. There's no way I can put that out. So I have to tweak it and make it smaller, shorter watch time. More watch time equals more followers. Another thing is to check your analytics. See what posts have higher engagement and reshare that content or recreate a similar post. You can do this by going to the three dots in your profile, going onto the Insights tab, see all your content, and then you can see what your stats look like. Now, though, you can even do that quicker. I don't know if all of you have this, but Instagram launched a pretty cool update. And some of us, if you just go on your main feed, go on your profile, you can see right just by looking at a picture how many people looked, so enacted, engaged with that post. So, which is excellent. So you don't really even have to go to the metrics anymore. It's kind of right out there. You can see that, they cannot. Although with videos, reels, everybody can see how many views you've gotten if they go to the Reels tab on your profile. Huge thing, and I will say this pretty much on most likely on every single masterclass, because a lot of it just comes down to engaging more, reacting and commenting on posts. This helps them out, so people appreciate that, and the law of reciprocity will most likely kick in, and they will start engaging with you. It shows more activity from your account, and people are more apt to reciprocate and engage with you. This is 100% true, especially on Instagram. Other followers look for people who engage and they add them. So I do this. Sometimes if I'm looking strategically to add followers, and I add, say, a local business here, and I'm looking to see, okay, how many other local businesses typically engage with that business? Then I go in and I add them. And it's pretty cool because most of them do follow me back. So, and again, because they get the whole followers, they understand how important that is to a business. Another thing that I would say is a lot of us just posting one piece a day, and that is definitely not enough. So although you're getting this material, uh, again, it's that value-driven gap filler that you need, but you need to be doing more than that. So in all honesty, I would say post at least 4 times a week. I would say post at least once a day. Optimize your bio so that the right people follow you. Use location tags in all of your posts. So whether you're on Instagram or Facebook, you should always be saying where you are. Collaborate with other small business owners in the area, so you can add a collaborator or tag another business in the post. Post to standard feed as well as story feed. This is something that I see a lot of agents doing, is ignoring the standard feed. They're all over the stories feed. And I get it. That's where a lot of people are. So I do get the appeal to that. But don't miss out on the standard feed as well. So what I would do is post to the standard feed and then share it to your stories feed. And then also mix it up. Don't make it all about real estate. As I said, people want to know who you are, what you're all about besides being a realtor. And use calls to action. Let's get into some hooks to increase engagement. I've got some cool examples for you, and I've actually categorized them out for you. So you might want to take a picture of this screen. I've got a few screens coming up. This is one of them, the curiosity hook. And the intention of the curiosity hook is to spark interest by withholding just enough information so viewers will want to click and watch. And this is what I was talking about earlier. So here's an example. This one thing added 50,000 to a home's value, and most sellers have never even heard of it. That would have my curiosity. The problem-solving hook introduces a common real estate problem and hints at a solution. So the example here is tired of your home sitting on the market for weeks? Here's how to sell it faster without dropping the price. Value hook. This one offers clear, immediate value upfront, tips, insights, or knowledge. Example, 3 simple upgrades that can increase your home's value before listing it, no renovation needed. All of these are amazing hooks. We've got some more for you. Listicle hook. This organizes content into a numbered list, and it's digestible and easy to remember. Here's an example. Top 5 mistakes first-time home buyers make and how to avoid them. So you're posing a problem, but you're also giving them the solution. Behind the scenes hook gives followers a peek into your daily work, builds trust and relatability. Come with me on a home staging walkthrough before tomorrow's open house. Here's what we fix first. So you're almost giving them an exclusive sneak peek. I love it. Another hook is engaging question hook. Starts with a question that encourages comments or taps into common experiences. So the example here is, would you rather buy a move-in ready home or a fixer-upper if both cost the same? Interesting. Last 2, myth busting hook. Challenge common real estate beliefs that provoke curiosity and discussion. An example of this one would be, you don't need 20% down to buy a home. Here's what lenders don't always tell you. And then the last one is a call to action hook. Directs your audience to take specific action, watch, comment, save, or reach out. An example would be, thinking of selling your home this summer? DM me sell and I'll send you my free prep checklist. This is a strong CTA for lead generation. I get this. So here's another thing. I have to say a lot of agents are using Flowdesk. And I've been testing some of these links, and I have found out that a lot of them don't work. I'm not getting any follow-up, and I'm not using my real estate. I'm doing that in an area that no one would know, doing it from my, personal page, because I want to test to see how some of these lead generation tools actually work. And I will say that you should test your own links and make sure that the links that you have out there, that maybe if you've done them under a free trial, I know they offer a free trial, but check your links to make sure that they actually work. And what I mean is maybe have your spouse or your best friend check it and say, okay, no, I never got this guide. I never got a link to anything. Because here's what I'll say. How you market yourself is how other people will perceive how you're going to market them. So if your marketing isn't working for you, you might be perceived as having marketing that won't work for them either. So take the time to test the things that you have out there. Make sure it all works and do it regularly. Like if you've done it at first and say, yep, it works, keep doing it. Making sure that all of your links, all of your stuff is out there, that's correct. All right, let's get into calls to action. Let me just say this too. Calls to action are super crucial when it comes to getting the results, because as you role play, as you define your call to action script, you put it everywhere. It should be in your bio, your social media posts, your web pages, your landing and contact pages, your videos, emails, all of these things here. What I started doing was I would say it first in person. I had a call to action that I would use in person at open houses. And then I started using that same call to action. I made sure it was on my website. I made sure it was in my email signature or, everywhere. And then on my social media, in my bio. So it just became fluid. And I think, and mix it up a little bit. I don't think that people should think you're robotic or scripted. I understand that. But my point is that you should be very comfortable using a call to action. It shouldn't be something that you stumble with, that you're not confident with. And that's why I say, yes, maybe at first you define, you outline a script and you get it down and you practice it and practice it and practice it. Um, but then mix it up because you want it to be authentic too. All right. Biggest pro tips for video captions, as I said earlier, don't spill all the beans in the headline or caption because then nobody's going to watch your video. If you're posting video content, entice them to watch the video. More views. The algorithms love more views. All right. I have some tips for your June social media inspiration for June social media. And you can take a picture of this, but this is some of the things. So if you are thinking, okay, I don't have any ideas as to what to post outside of what I get from the Lair social media, well, here you have it. So take a photo of this. One thing I would say is what's happening in your local market this month. So give everybody an update. Another one is top 3 reasons to list in June, where you can talk about summer buyers, curb appeal, and the school year ending. What $500,000 gets you in Tewksbury this June? Compare 2 to 3 listings and maybe even compare it to last year's June. Should you sell now or wait until fall? What are the pros and cons? What you must do before a summer open house, staging and scent tips. Love that. Renting versus buying in June. Compare the cost with local stats. Home maintenance checklist for June. I think that would be awesome to put out. In fact, do that every month. 3 curb appeal boosters for summer. Simple upgrades for sellers. And then how to buy and move during summer break without the stress and hidden costs of buying in June for inspections, insurance, etc. Holiday seasonal content. So for June, we have Flag Day. So Flag Day front porch challenge. I love this. I think this is so festive. Flag etiquette for homeowners. Tips for displaying it properly. And then we also have Father's Day. Father's Day home features dad's love. So think garage space, man cave, the yard. Happy Father's Day, obviously a post. And then share a story about your dad or a memorable moment with a real estate client who's a dad. Father's Day giveaway, maybe a barbecue set, a local brewery voucher, top 3 backyard grilling setups. And then summer solstice, also another event happening in June. Home Vibes showcase natural light and sunset views on a listing. This happens around the 20th. I think it is June 20th. Can you believe that? Summer. Oh my gosh. I know in New England, I hear it's very cold. Anyway, best local spots to celebrate Father's Day. So I love these ideas. And then personal behind the scenes, a day in my life as a realtor happening in June. Come with me to a listing photo shoot and what I'm reading. You know that I would totally do this. I think I'm going to start doing this regular on my social because I love this. And 3 things I wish buyers knew before touring homes and my favorite listing right now. Love it. And again, this doesn't have to be your listing. If you're thinking, well, I don't have a listing, just it could be really anybody's listing as long as you get approval from them. And obviously, if it's occupied, the seller's okay with it. But I don't know many people that wouldn't want help in showcasing their listings to help get it sold. More content ideas, client focused and engagement. June client shout out, celebrate a client who bought and sold with you. Home ownership tip of the week. And I always say make that a series. This or that, dream kitchen or dream bathroom. And you can pull that to get engagement. And then ask me anything real estate edition, use a Q&A feature or respond to DMs. And then Myth Monday, do you really need perfect credit to buy a home? This June home sold in however many days, and here's why. And then save this post, summer buyer checklist, a carousel with steps, or a PDF freebie, which you can include as part of your Your layer landing page. You can build a landing page through your Boston Logic or Lone Wolf, I think it is now, website. So there are tools at your disposal that will help you accomplish all of this. I always like to include this because I love this saying, always think strategically and see the big picture. Who can I connect with today and how can I provide value? That is something that I think when we have our power hour, our time in the morning, we should be thinking this, or at night when you're doing your to-do list, who can I connect with tomorrow? How can I provide value? Mindsets for success. Intention reveals desire. Action reveals commitment. I think that is so powerful. Anthony Robbins said this next one, life will pay any price you ask of it. And the growth you are seeking is in the work you are avoiding. That's super powerful. You will never rise above your own self-image. So I always say, think big, shoot for the stars. You're not stuck. You're just loyal to an outdated version of who you are. Shift the vision and watch the magic unfold. And this goes right in alignment with the previous, which you'll never rise above your own self-image. So shift that image. And here's the super, super impactful one is I asked the universe for flowers and it gave me rain. What do you think that means? It means it's answering what you want. It's giving you what you want, only just not in the way that you expect it. So look for those signs. I think that is so powerful. All right, I have two recommended readings this month. We Can Do Hard Things, Answers to Life's 20 Questions. This is actually also a podcast I found out. So I'm excited to delve into this. And then one of the thoughts from this book was regarding embracing the hard. The authors believe that everyone experiences difficult situations, and the key is to acknowledge and face them rather than avoid them. I always say, invite them to tea. Learn about them, sit down, figure it out. And the only way out is through. Super, super impactful. And the Harvard Business Review, How to Build a Personal Brand, is my bonus reading for the month. It talks about really defining you and who you are and owning that. And then looking for inspiration for social media. I can connect with you at The Real Renee Tompkins. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Pinterest. Would love to connect with you. I'm glad to follow you back on that. And the next masterclass will be on June 24th, so I'll see you there. But before we go, I did make a promise to a couple of agents to show you how to, so I'm going to get out of this here, and I'm going to show you how to make an animated sticker. So first, let me say, I have the pro version of Canva, so I have some features that you all don't, but I can tell you if you have the basic level of the standard level, you can still make an animated sticker. Just going to look a little different. So if I want to do, say, a sticker of myself, and I'm going to remove this background. This is a pro feature, so I just want you to know. So I'm going to remove my background and just say I want to do, maybe I want to just make a shape here. And I want the color to be white, and I just want to outline it in black. And then I'm going to maybe say sold by Renee. I don't know. All right. And I want to bring that in a little. And then make that. And so I want to say animate. So I'm going to animate this text. So say I go to animate and I don't know. All right, just say I like that one. And then if I want to, if that's all I want to do, say, then I can download it. But because I have Pro, it has to be a GIF. So because I've added animation, it's going to default to an MP4, but I have to change it to a GIF. And then I want to also, because I have Pro, remove this white whole background here. So the white will stay behind Sold by Renee, but let's make that a different color so that you can see the difference. And then I want to make the background blue, and then I want to make the letters white. Okay. This is, again, just an example, and maybe I want to bring myself to the front here. Okay. So now I'm going to download it, and I'm going to, again, switch it from an MP4 to a GIF, and then I'm also going to hit transparent background so that the major white doesn't show up. And so then I'm going to download it. It does take a little bit because it's animated. This is just a very basic design, but I could have even animated myself if I wanted to. And then where would you use that? So say, for instance, I had, okay, I'm just going to throw here. Darshana, we're featuring her sale this weekend. So just say that was me on there and I wanted to add this sticker that I just created. Sold by, oh, I wonder why it didn't go. Let me just see here. This is bugging me. Sold by Renee. That's weird. The whole thing didn't go. That's so weird. Let me try it again. And then I'm also, you know what I'm going to do? I'm also going to animate myself. So let me try that one more time. I'm going to switch it to a GIF. I'm going to hit transparent background. That may appear differently. Yeah, it is appearing differently. That's so weird. All right. And then once you download them, what I would do is like keep them in a folder in your email or keep them if you have Canva, create a folder, keep all of your animated stickers in a folder, and then you can add them just by dragging them onto any image. But again, once you have an animated GIF on an image, now you have to download that entire image as a GIF. Even though, you know, you've got a picture and a GIF, now the whole thing has to be animated, downloaded as a GIF. So hopefully this works. All right, let's see if this one worked. Yes. All right. So say again, I'm pretending that Darshana is me and maybe I want me over here. And I want to just like angle it a little. I don't know. But that's how you make a sticker. So again, now if you do not have the pro version, what you could do really is this would need to be resized into a smaller thing. You can't make, you can still animate things, but you cannot download them with a transparent background. That would be the only challenge. So this would have to be centered, you know. So you could you could download it as a GIF, but you could not, under the free version, click transparent background. So you would get that white background. That's the only thing. I will say this though, the nice thing about having the white background is that your sticker definitely does stand out more. So that's how you do that is how you do an animated sticker. You can make them however you want. It's a lot of fun. So you should still have the basic animations through Canva. You may not have them all. Um, but again, under the free version, you won't be able to remove you won't have the transparent background option. And can I just say this though? Canva is only like 110, I want to say maybe 120 at the most a year. I think it's a great investment if you have any interest in, marketing and designs. I mean, if you say, even if it's 120 divided by 12 months, it's $10 a month. I know you pay for it yearly, and it's a write-off. I would highly encourage you to consider getting the pro version. It just offers so much more. So that's my class for this month. Thank you for tuning in. As always, looking forward to seeing you on next month's masterclass. Have an amazing June. Thank you.